What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Noah Kavanaugh. Welcome back to the world's greatest football store. In this box is one of, if not my favorite speed boots of all time. It is the new Sokito Scudetta, finally here at Ultra Football. Let's jump into it. All right, so for those of you guys who don't know, Sokito is a UK-based company that has 100% vegan products. Their Scudetta model, which is their speed boot, came out a couple years ago, and for a very long time, I've been trying to connect Sokito and Ultra to get the Scudetta down here in Australia because it is my personal favorite speed boot on the market. It's so comfortable and it's got some amazing materials, which we'll show you guys in just a second. Now, this unboxing experience is really, really cool. It comes in this almost like egg carton style. Of course, it's recyclable and made from recycled materials. And you've got a little sheath that you get to undo just like this. And then you've got a few of these kind of landmark looking lines that make it look almost like a topographical map, which you'll see reflected in the actual boots themselves. Now, you have the sizing on the one side here as well, which is the Scudetta. These are in a 9 US, a UK 8. I tend to wear a half a size up, so I actually wear a 9.5 in the Scudetta. I've now worn them since their first Colorway, which came out about a year and a half ago now, and they're absolutely sensational, about a half a size up. So make sure in terms of sizing, you go a half a size up. Now, when you do decide to pull these out of the box, it's a very simple unboxing. And in today's video, we have the Brazil Colorway with an obvious homage to the R9 Vapor, which came out a very, very long time ago. This is a beautiful colorway with the yellow and green from the Brazil flag. Now, this is a boot that absolutely screams speed, so let's jump into a couple of the tech specs, and we'll talk about weight and, of course, how they perform on pitch. All right, so in terms of tech specs, the crazy part is that despite these being made out of recycled materials, this is actually one of the lightest speed boots on the market, coming in at about 185 grams, depending on the size, of course. This boot feels incredibly lightweight. Now, for those of you who have worn the 2014 Adidas F50 with that hybrid touch upper, that original hybrid touch, this is very, very similar to that, and in fact, I think was inspired by that boot and the popularity of that boot. This is what they call BioTouch, and you can see here on the side, it's got some really cool text on the side of the boot that actually reads, "This boot contains corn waste, castor beans, wood fiber, sugarcane, bamboo, and recycled plastic bottles." So that's actually what the boot is made out of. So not only are you supporting the environment while buying a pair of these, but you're also getting a boot that is incredibly lightweight and has a beautiful touch on the ball. So then in the midfoot, you have a textile-based mesh material here in the midfoot, which is very, very thin, but also very robust, that is put together at a seam to the BioTouch material. The BioTouch obviously being incredibly thin, almost leather-like, and then you've got this really thin synthetic material that really wraps the midfoot, and with the runner's knot allows you to get into the boots, lock the boots really tight, and from a performance perspective, these are top notch. The other thing that I love about this football boot is they've nailed the heel area. So a lot of heels tend to have really interesting or wonky shapes. They went very classic with this. It's got a suede liner all the way basically from this area all the way around, and then it's got some nice padding in the area right around the mid area of the heel to make for a super locked in fit. You've got a little bit of knit material here around the ankle just to give it a little bit more of a sporty and modern look, but overall the aesthetic of this boot is very, very clean with the Sokito logo and then that little text here on the heel as well. Moving on to the stud pattern, this is of course an FG. They are coming out with an AG stud pattern at some point in the future. My guess would probably be some point in the next 6 to 36 months. It's probably going to be 6 to 2 years maybe. And so this stud pattern is of course the FG, very, very aggressive. I probably would not recommend playing with these on an AG surface, but here in Australia, we're mostly playing on FG anyway. And so you're going to get really nice grip into those firm ground pitches. It's got a great amount of snap. I'll show you on this one because this one has a little thing in it. So there you go. It's got an incredible amount of snap given the fact that this isn't like a carbon fiber based plate, but it does have a ton of stiffness through the midfoot, and this is one of the most responsive feeling plates once you get your foot in the boot and the laces tied tight. Obviously, all chevron or bladed studs. You've got a little bit of a star-shaped stud or kind of a triangular-shaped stud here in the core of the midfoot, and then all bladed studs here in the rear. Very, very good for acceleration, deceleration, and any sort of lateral movement. It's going to be one of the more aggressive boots on the market for those types of cutting ability. Now, in terms of performance and touch on the ball, the Sokito Scudetta is one of those boots that you just have to try to really believe it. This is a, in my opinion, better reincarnation of that original 2014 F50. This is one of those boots that really surprised me when I first put it on. It's incredibly comfortable, but it's still got that really nice locked-in speed boot sensation, and then it's got that performance of that BioTouch upper that almost acts like a super thin leatherette type material. So I know Nike's got their own material, obviously Adidas has got the Hybrid Touch material, and some other brands are doing their own thing. This is by far the softest, and especially here in Australia, and it gives you this really kind of one-to-one second skin feeling, both on your foot, but also with that touch on the ball. Like I mentioned before with the box, with some of those topographical line kind of areas here that we get on the stud pattern, you also get that in texture, 3D texturing on the upper. It's not enough to make a substantial difference while you're touching the ball. It's not going to be a grippy or a waxy feeling, but it will give you a little bit of extra texture in those wet weather conditions so that it's not super, super slippery like we see on other boots on the market. The tongue area is also totally great. It's a one-piece suede material that's got a little bit of a exoskeleton, if you will, built into it, and they've gone for two little lace slits on either side of the lacing so that the tongue doesn't move side to side when you are kicking the ball or playing or shooting or anything like that. That's something that I really think is good. And of course, they've actually gone for a standard U-throat construction. I think with so many brands going down the one-piece upper or the knit construction, or the Adidas went with the tunnel system, I don't think those function as well as just a standard U-throat tongue. You see a lot of the best brands in the world, including Sokito, go for a standard U-throat tongue, and then we just put the 2 or 4 slits in it to make sure that the tongue doesn't go anywhere. It fits and performs perfectly well. So in terms of who this boot is for, honestly, it's kind of for everybody. I think if you're somebody who really appreciates the comfort of a leather pair of football boots, but you want more of that speed boot, this really ticks both of those boxes for me. If you're going for a super hardcore speed boot and you want the most locked-in sensation, I would probably go for something like a Mizuno Alpha or something that's going to give you the most locked-in sensation, but you're probably going to compromise just a little bit on the comfort side of things, whereas this boot really comes in at that kind of middle category of it's really, really good at pretty much everything. And so for me, that's why actually in 2024, I released a video on my own channel for my favorite boots of 2024. This was actually number 3 on the list, and it was the top rated speed boot of the entire year. And it stands today still as my favorite speed boot on the market today. It is absolutely sensational. It is so fun to wear. It's very pingy. It gives you such a nice amount of holistic performance. And this is coming from a player who's, played at a pro level and stuff. I absolutely would rate these for any level of the game. And the cool thing is we're now seeing Sokito get into places like the A-League and the MLS and places in England as well. So they're a smaller brand, but here at Ultra Football, we are able to stock them so you guys can find them online or come in store and try them on for yourself. Because when I've seen players actually try the Scudetta on, this is really all they want to wear from now on. So it's a very, very cool pair of football boots from a unique brand, and especially for those of you who really want something that not a lot of other players are going to wear, definitely pick up the Sokito Scudetta. It is very much a sleeper. All right, guys, I want to know what you guys think of the Sokito Scudetta down in the comments section below. Are you a fan of this Brazil colorway? Are you interested in a boot that's made of recycled materials? And for those of you who are maybe a little bit skeptical and wondering about durability, I will say these, or my own pair, I have this colorway and I have a blackout colorway that they released almost a year ago. Both of those that I play in quite often have lasted a very, very long time, 0 issues with durability. So no issues there. But I want to know, what do you guys think of this boot? I think it's absolutely fantastic. The Brazil colorway is probably my second favorite behind the launch colorway, which was white with the red accents. We have some new colorways coming soon to Ultra Football as well, which is very exciting, that are stunning in my opinion. And if you're interested in this kind of R9 homage, definitely come check them out here at Ultra Football. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up today's video of the Sokito Scudetta. I am so happy and stoked that we are able to get them here in Australia now with Ultra Football. So if you guys are interested, visit us at ultrafootball.com.au. Of course, check out our socials. Subscribe to this YouTube if you haven't already, and at Ultra Football on Instagram, where we post daily content on all the latest and greatest football boots and football gear. My name is Noah Kavanaugh, and I'll see you guys next time at the world's greatest football store.